The 1965 Topps baseball set, blah blah blah. This isn't going to be like the previous bad airbrush videos, and the last couple really haven't shown many examples of airbrushing for the most part. Topps went through a phase of poorly hiding uniforms and taking pics of players with no caps. Most photos here are like the ones in the 1964 set, and it was a rough go in assembling that video. Only a few brushed caps can be found in this release, so we'll have to make do with what we're given. Sandy Valdespino didn't put up numbers that were eye-catching, moving between 5 different clubs within his 7-year career. His rookie season was his best, hitting .261 with 8 doubles. The outfielder is shown here as a rookie star, yet still in his minor league uniform with a heavily brushed cap. The curse of the Houston logo struck Topps in the mid-1960s after a dispute arose between the Colt 45 gun manufacturer and the baseball team in Texas. The 45s would soon change their name to the Astros, but not before showcasing players like Rusty Staub, Jim Beauchamp, and Larry Dierkehr, each of whom played in Houston the previous season, with airbrushed caps and jerseys that advertised the previous nickname. John Bateman might have been asked to just turn his lid around, since an unmasked catching pose seemed acceptable. Here's the kind of story I love. Bobby Locke is shown on his 1965 card wearing an Indians jersey. He last played for Cleveland in 1961. After 2 trades and just 23 Major League appearances for the Cardinals and Phillies over the next 3 seasons, Locke was purchased by the Angels in October of 1964. He was traded to the Reds the following July without ever appearing for the team. 2 years later, he returned to California and joined his former club, finally playing in 38 games between 1967 and 68. Rocky Colavito finished in top 4 voting twice during his first run with the Indians, which ended in 1959. The 9-time All-Star returned to Cleveland as part of a 3-team trade in January of 1965. Topps pretended to show the slugger back at his old stomping grounds with an airbrushed jersey and cap of Kansas City. Rocky would finish 5th that season in the MVP race, leading the league with 108 RBI. Come on, Topps. You couldn't do any better. Which franchise do you think Stan Williams is pictured as here? The Yankees, perhaps? I'm surprised they couldn't do a better job by adding a sloppy blotch on the cap, or whitening the intertwining letters, or maybe using a totally different photo. After spending just 2 years in the Bronx, the veteran hurler would spend 4 years in Cleveland, winning 25 and saving 22. Nelson Briles and Wayne Spezio were just starting their major league careers and hadn't put enough innings in to be pictured in official Cardinals threads, which is why their caps are heavily drawn over. Thank goodness for the Rookie Stars template that shows very little uniform. Both were members of St. Louis's back-to-back pennant-winning teams in 1967 and 68. 11-year veteran Harry Walker spent 9 years as a Cardinal, including as player-manager in his last playing season of 1955. He wouldn't manage again until Pittsburgh picked up his services a decade later. What to do when someone hasn't been part of the game for so long? Topps went with the old picture routine and blackened in his cap. That red collar really clashes with the yellow pennant. Walker led the Bucks for 3 seasons and the Astros for 5, putting up a career .500 record. Pete Craig only appeared in 6 Major League games over his 3-year career. It was barely enough time to warrant his own trading card. Topps put him on this dual rookie with a brushed cap and generic enough jersey. Sorry, my copy here is a bit dirty. Pete gave up 23 earned runs in 18 innings of work. His teammate in 1965 and 66, Dick Nenn, did not appear in the majors in 1964, playing in just 7 games for the Dodgers in 63. You can make out his LA uniform in this photo. Nenn was used sparingly most of his career, but had a bit of pop in his bat, hitting 6 home runs in each of 3 consecutive seasons. This is more of a how about that when it comes to subjects given their own trading card. Ralph Gagliano was signed by the Indians as an amateur free agent before the 1964 season. He appeared in just 1 game in his entire career, that as a pinch runner on September 21, 1965, never even getting a plate appearance. Here he is in what I gather a Cleveland jersey, though his cap is without a logo. Could it be a practice hat? Ah, what could have been. There aren't many 1966 examples in this vintage collection, yet, so in this series' next video, I'll skip over to my 1967 build and explore any funny business in that set's photography.